Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Miraculous, episode 17. So yeah, we are continuing on Miraculous after leaving off with the two-part origin story behind our characters, which delved quite a bit into a lot of the lore behind the series and gave us a lot of big information that at least I was really hoping to hear sooner rather than later. Apparently, from what I was told in the comments, those two episodes actually originally aired at the end of the season, and that it was Netflix, I believe it was, that decided to put them in the middle, which is interesting. But I actually think that's a very good thing, because waiting until the end of the season, which is 26 episodes total, for that kind of thing, I think it would be too late at that point. Especially since, at least up to now, all the other episodes have been really episodic. We got a hint, like the episode before the two-parter, we did get a hint of things to come with the old man appearing. But that's about the only thing that we really got. We needed this two-parter, we needed this origin story to be at this point in the series, honestly, in order to keep up interest. A series as extremely episodic as this, at least for me, loses its luster really quickly unless it does something to entice the viewer into continuing. And keeping the same formula pretty much every time, with only the most basic specifics changing, doesn't do it. The most interesting thing they've done with that is the mime. And that's pretty much it. And it was just because of his power set being so interesting. But otherwise, even that was still just a normal run-of-the-mill episode. And it's like, some people can get into that, but me, at least, it's like, you need to have something in there to entice me to want to continue. This is why I dropped it in the first place, the first time. Because I felt like it was not going anywhere. That it wasn't, that it wasn't bad, but it wasn't doing anything. It was static. And we don't want shows to kind of just be static. We don't want them to lose that interest, that excitement. Because the series at the beginning, I really got into, but then it just became too much of the same. And since starting it up again, it's like, yeah, I've been reinvigorated, brought back into it. But if they don't keep up those intriguing, interesting moments, it's going to fall back into that trap. I really hate to say it, but it will. And so I'm really glad that they put the two-parter where they did. Right smack dab in the middle of the season, where it's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. It fits there. It's right at the point where most people would probably start to lose interest. It gets people hooked back in. And now we have another half of the season to go. Another, like, 10 episodes, basically. And it's like, okay, now what? Now what are we going to get into? Things most likely aren't going to change. The basic premise is most likely going to stay the same. It's going to continue to be Ladybug and Cat Noir fighting an akumatized villain who's just unhappy with his life or being passed over or whatever else every time. Every episode, probably until the finale, is probably going to be that. No real changes. Adrian and Marinette are going to dance around the fact that they have feelings for each other. Chloe's going to be a bitch. Stuff like that. This stuff you expect from every episode. And again, some people can get into formulaic shows like these. But it's like I've never been able to as much. Like even Sailor Moon switched things up from time to time with all of the filler they had in the original series. Even they switched things up and made things exciting by having new concepts be brought in, by giving Usagi or Serena, if you watched the original dub, by giving her all these new gadgets from time to time, by bringing in new Sailor Scouts from time to time. Even Sailor Moon did some more interesting things here and there. It wasn't just, you know, it wasn't just, here's this monster of the week. She has to defeat him. She doesn't know how. She might get help from Tuxedo Mask, might not. Who knows? That's basically that's what a lot of people saw. At least the first season of Sailor Moon, the Dark Kingdom arc, as being, but it really wasn't. At least not in the original. Like Sailor Moon Crystal, of course, being more accurate to the manga, also kept it fresh at all times too. So it's like it never felt like that. It never felt as formulaic, but this series definitely does. Um, but again, luckily it's showing signs of changing that, and I hope it continues to do so. And I don't expect anything else big to happen before the finale. I don't. And I never would. Like, why would it? um, but I think that we're going to have we're going to have little bits and pieces here and there from now on. That's what I'm guessing, and that's what I'm hoping for. Again, even though the two-parter was supposed to be at the end of the season, so I guess technically that was supposed to be the finale initially, but even though there's still probably going to be little hints and little bits and pieces here and there just sprinkled throughout. At least I'm hoping so. But I am still going to continue to judge this series as I would with any show. I'm not just going to give it a free pass now that it's gathered my interest again with that origin story. I'm not just going to just let things slide if they become too formulaic or just go in ways that I don't like. Um, so it's very possible might not even make it to the finale. It's possible. I mean, granted, as always, I hope to make it to the finale, especially with only 10 episodes to go, but still, I'm just giving you a heads up that there is that possibility. But either way, I will try my best and I will hope to hell that this is good enough to at least keep my interest for 10 more episodes of what is most likely going to be the same old, same old. Hopefully the villains are at least interesting and have some interesting abilities and I guess you could call them fighting styles, stuff like that. Um, so yeah, hoping for the best here, but preparing for the worst. Just being safe with that. Either way, yeah, I'm very interested to get to this, and hopefully we do have more good stuff coming in the future of this season before the ending. And again, at least having something good be done with the villains and stuff. Per usual, I don't know much of anything coming up in the future. I do know a couple very minor spoilers, but I don't even know if they're this season. Um, I don't even I don't know like the full details basically behind a lot of it. I have heard a couple things just randomly just throughout throughout time. Um, yeah, it's just you hear things every now and again randomly, even if the show isn't like exceedingly popular or exceedingly talked about. You do eventually hear things here and there. But again, they're at least I would assume minor things, um, and not like going to be like super invested to the plot. I mean, maybe to a degree, but we'll see. We'll see. Um, either way, either way. Uh, Hopefully this goes well. We are doing just the one episode again this week. Yeah, it's what I feel up for doing. No other real reason. But either way, I'm going to stop stalling, so let's get into this. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirecting of the description below. Follow the links to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay. It was exactly what I expected, but it was an interesting concept at least. Um, yeah, it was one of those enemy of the week, akumatized victim. Marinette and Cat Noir have to stop him, have a little trouble, but end up doing it in the end thanks to Ladybug's powers. It's the same thing you get pretty much every episode. There wasn't even anything really like hinting towards anything in the future with this one, unfortunately. The interesting aspect came actually in two different parts, though. I will give it that. One, Animan. Animan was an interesting enemy for them to take on. He's a shapeshifter. He became a shapeshifter who could turn into any animal. Which, I mean, locking him in the bus was a dumb idea. It really was. I know they're kids, but still. It's like, obviously, if he could turn into any animal, he's going to be able to turn into an animal big enough to break out of there. Like, come on. But yeah, it's just it was interesting. Um, and basically the way they had to defeat him was to tire him out because using his power to keep transforming tired him out more and more. So eventually he just wasn't able to keep up with it, and they managed to defeat him before he could transform again. The other interesting aspect is Nino and Alia kind of getting together. That I did not expect. Though I did kind of maybe a little ship them. Just because obviously Marinette and Adrian, so you think, like, yeah, the best friends being together as well. And it's interesting. Like, I don't think Nino having a crush on Marinette was ever brought up before. I don't think that was ever a thing until now. So it just kind of came out of nowhere. And then they ended up being locked in the cage during all of these events. And they found they actually had a connection. And they bonded and, well, kind of got together. I almost dropped something there. Don't mind me. But yeah, they kind of got together. So I honestly do hope that continues. I do hope to see more of them just being a couple and stuff. I think that would be cool. But yeah, otherwise, this episode did as pretty much most of the episodes do, or at least a lot of them, and it's like not too much exciting or special. And once again, like a lot of the episodes, it's teased Adrian finding out about Marinette being Ladybug and everything by him seeing the picture at her house and everything when they went there. It's the same old, same old. It was entertaining though. It was fun to watch, but yeah, it's like it didn't really do anything huge to really continue from the last reaction, the two-parter. But again, I kind of expected that. And again, at least it was entertaining. At least it was fun to watch. So I will give it that. There's not really much else to say regarding it. Kim, as a character, he's one of those characters that is just like kind of for me. Like sometimes he has some good moments, but other times it's like he's kind of an asshole. This episode showed that for sure. And it's just like, okay. He's just one of those side characters who it's just like, I don't really have any, like, extremely strong opinions on one way or the other. And then again, most of this episode just it was the same old, same old. There's not much of anything to talk about. There's not really much of anything to say that I haven't said in the past. Besides, again, talking about Animan, which I already did. um, but yeah, it's like I'm definitely interested to see where this goes, and I'm hoping it does continue to be good going forward. But that being said, tell me in the comments below what you thought, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.